morning, everybody.
Oh, hey
Hi,
there.
Lakota. So, Jonathan's out today, but you've got me, Mike, and
Me, Rich.
I'm me, Lakota.
we're your Guardians of the Wills, and we're excited to get into this episode today. So let me share the. You got me, Mike, oh, thank you. Had some feedback there, but we're at episode number 4 of Star Wars High Republic Adventures. And as per usual, we're going to review the League of Comic Geeks page to look at the variant covers. And there's only one other cover. So this is the main cover, which I rather like. We've got our main characters here. We've got Lula front and center. Then above her, we've got Zine with Cham Cham, my personal favorite. We've got Court down in the bottom corner. And we've got, Farzala? Is it Farzala?
Yeah.
I think so.
Farzala.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
To that effect.
Which I originally thought was like a big guy, but he's just a little kid. So he's one of the Padawans. What do you guys think about this cover?
I really like it. I like the colours on it.
It's
Yeah.
vibrant.
It pops. It's got a lot going on. I appreciate the artwork. You know, you get all of them together like that. It's a lot happening, but in a good way.
I like seeing the lightsabers, framing them. It's cool.
All the same color in this particular picture.
Well, Farzala's is green, right? Are they?
Or am I just not seeing right? Oh, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, because
blind. There's some blue and some green.
Yeah, so there's 2 blues and then the green. All right, and the variant cover, just one other, features. It's a different style.
Cham Cham.
Yeah, Cham Cham. I love Cham Cham. He's so cute. He looks like my little Frenchie. Little pot belly. And yeah, interesting. And she looks older in this cover than in the other one, doesn't she?
We were talking about this last week, weren't we? It's almost like different artists have got different. There's almost two different vibes where some of them look older, some of them they look late teens, and some of them they look kind of preteen.
Right. So this one is like the older look, right? A little bit more mature.
Yeah. She also looks like she's using the Force. So is this supposed to be maybe a flash forward?
Well, she's been using the Force because she used it, when the Great Disaster.
A little, yeah. But I mean, they're not training her as of yet.
No.
Well, we'll get into what happens during the issue, but I don't know. She's just not trained. So to see her, she looks very Jedi-ish.
Yeah, she does with the robes and all.
Very serene, very trained. The look on her face is steady, not panicked. Yeah, the robes.
Calm. Even her shirt, very Jedi.
Yeah.
All right. But I do prefer the color palette of the main cover. Looks nicer. Well, for my taste. So it says here, this issue is called The Mountain. Zena's followed the Jedi to Starlight Beacon, where she learns what it means to be a Padawan and begins her own training of her Force powers. So Rich, you're right. Started her training. Meanwhile, Crix tries to survive on a Nihil ship, fighting their way through a Republic blockade as he wonders who the mysterious person who rescued him truly is. And we know it's none other than the villainous... I forget his name.
That was so anticlimactic.
I know, the villainous.
Marchion Rowe.
Marchion Rowe. Sorry.
It's Sunday, people. Bear with us.
It's early for us Californians. Well, me, Californian me.
We'll get it right.
So thank you, Lakota.
It's fine. I've been up all day, so I'm all good.
Good. And characters, not too many. We've got our favorite Cham Cham there. And then Crix Camerat, Torben Buck, Marchion Rowe, Eye of the Nile, Lula Talasola, Yoda, Farzala Terabel, Quart, and Zine Morella. And let's get into the issue. Here we go, that beautiful cover. And here's the little crawl. A true test of loyalty faces two young friends. Markion Ro has offered Crick's Camrat power and control. Master Yoda and the Jedi have offered Force-sensitive Zine Morala safety and a home. But in order to obtain these, they both must give up the only thing that has ever brought them peace, each other. Let's see what happens to our friends. So it opens up with, even though they're not technically training her, they're allowing her to observe, and they're sharing with her the wisdom. So they're not really sure. And I like that the Jedi in the High Republic aren't as rigid as they appear later, like what we're familiar with. You know, when they bring Anakin and he's like too young, too old to begin the training, you know, things like that.
Yeah, for me, it's a strange one because even though they're not training her to be a Jedi as such, they are training her to kind of connect to the Force, to learn how to kind of listen to it and to feel it and to be one with the Force and all that kind of type thing. So there's the spiritual part of it that they're really trying to support her with without physically training her to be a Jedi.
Right.
Dakota, I'm glad you just clarified that because I thought I missed something. Like, are they training her or are they not training her? I thought they said they weren't, but now they kind of are.
For me, it's about, they can't train her to be a Jedi. That's fine, but they can at least help her. You know, a little bit like in the X-Men, you know, with Xavier's school, they're bringing kids in and they're teaching them how to deal with their powers. We know that she's always struggled to control her powers and deal with them because she's, you know, previously she was never allowed to use her powers because the Force was seen as a bad thing on her home planet. So now they're kind of trying to get her to really hone in on what the Force is, how it helps her, how it flows through her, so that she can then better use it. So whilst they're not training her to be a Jedi, they're training her on the principles of the Force, which is, I think, going to be a super important lesson for her.
Yeah, and I think that's different from, because these Jedi seem more open to sharing the wealth with everybody else, not like the Jedi that we're familiar with in the prequel trilogy where they're all so closed.
Yeah.
Well, I also think it's wise strategy too, because if you don't give her any training or understanding and you cut her loose on the galaxy, you're inviting disaster. What if she becomes a Sith or a dark side Force user?
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
And I like that. Oh, let me take off guided view, 2-page view. So I like that we're getting to learn more about how Jedi train Padawan. So we're getting more of that lore of the Jedi where it was always a big mystery, you know, and now we're starting to see the nuts and bolts. And then, and I like this part. They're on Ord Mantell. We know that planet well.
Yes, we do.
And I'm really excited to see that they're there. And I looked up a little bit about Ord Mantell, and it says that the species of that planet are the Mickeyans, which is what Zine is. She's a Mickeyan.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. So it's nice to think that, you know, a few hundred years later, our Bad Batch are on the same planet.
That is very cool.
Yeah, cool connection. I love all. Yeah,
let's not forget about running into bounty hunters there. Empire.
That's right. So I love all these tendrils of connections to the rest of the Star Wars universe. You know, I'm big on that.
You know, quick side note, and the main Star Wars Marvel line, I don't know if you guys read that, but they actually played out that story where Han runs into the bounty hunters at Ord Mantell. That story is actually told in other comics.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna have to pick that up. So here she thinks that she's learning about the Force, and then Lula tells her, hey, is everything okay? I can feel something's wrong. And Zine thinks, oh, are you using the Force? She's like, no, I just know you. Your tendrils are down.
Yeah, your body language is giving away the fact that you're miserable.
Yeah, and that made me think about that. Maybe we're using the Force when we can read others' body language because we're, you know, those are the cues that we're picking up. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I feel more attuned to the Force now.
Yeah, but I can't lift things with my mind.
That you know of.
Let me know when we figure that out. Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden, something interrupts this serene, peaceful scene, and there's chaos. They're like, what's going on? They're all rushing around, and we see our friends here, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's a routine patrol. And the kids are excited, but they get left behind. So they're all taken off.
Which kind of makes sense, and you kind of hope that while they're training, they wouldn't be like shipped off to fight, unlike the Nihil that we know will use anyone to fight their battles for them.
Right. So that's really nice. And then it shifts over to Quan Chi, which is the junk moon, one of the moons of Ord Mantell, which is pretty cool too. And here we have a parallel story with Camerat Crix. And he's with Markion, and Markion wants to give him chores to do. And it's interesting to see the native peoples of this moon. It's these bird-like creatures.
Yeah.
And Markion gives, we have that one who's trying to escape. We don't know where he's going. But then Markion says, hey, take this gun. Don't let him stop.
Yeah. This is
and
almost like,
yeah.
This is a little bit like, kind of a gang initiation thing. It's like, here, you got to prove your worth. Let's see if you're cut out to be a Nihil. Go and kill someone. And it's, it's for a kid's comic, it's pretty disturbing if you think about it, because you've got this kid who just wants to fit in, that's been handed like a pretty large weapon and being told to go and kill someone. And it's going to be something that's completely against the grain of who he is for the planet that he lived on, where everything was all peaceful and harmonious and beautiful. He's now been thrown into this environment where it's, kill or be killed. You got to be tough. You got to, you got to be rough. You got to be ready to kind of fight the fight.
Yeah, and at some point he throws in like if you don't screw this up, I won't kill, or if you screw this up, I'll kill you, or you might die.
Yeah.
Or something, or like you might not die if you do this right.
Right, because and I don't think he really understands the gravity of this, because he is just a child. So he's running around, they gave him this weapon. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to blast it. But he hasn't ever really killed anybody. So it is disturbing because he is a child. And I'm thinking, wow, this IDW, which is targeted for younger children, it's pretty hefty for little kids. Yeah.
And then conversely, on the next page, you got buckets of blood talking about pastries in the oven.
I know, because he started baking and he's like, oh, we'll be back before the time's up in my oven.
I've sort of had enough of that character already.
I like him. He's it. And yeah, so they're coming in at him. And then we've got a battle scene, which is always cool. I like that.
Yeah. It looks like the Jedi really just mopped the floor with that little attack crew.
Yeah.
Whatever they had going.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think also plays back to Lakota's previous point, where it's like Marchion Rowe just sent these dudes out. He just sent them off. Like, here, go die.
He doesn't care.
I'm assuming this is a part of a bigger plan, but he had to have known he was sacrificing all these people when he sent them out.
He doesn't care.
His people are 100% expendable. It's almost like, if you die in this mission, then you're not worthy of being an Nihil, so I'll just find someone else who is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually pretty cool in the omnibus, or whatever you call this, volume 1. It's a big double-page piece of work, which is pretty cool.
It's this one, right? Yeah. So I like seeing these double pages on the Comixology, because I have a big monitor, so it's nice and big. easier for my old eyes to read everything.
Yeah, well, you see the problems I have. I can't even tell the lightsaber colors.
And then when I mirror these on my television, which is 70 inches across, it looks great.
Yeah.
And then I love these galactic data files, lightsabers of the High Republic.
I think these are great pages.
I really enjoyed that page. I did, seeing some of the old saber hilts.
Yeah,
me too. It took me back to Savi's workshop, and when I built my saber, I looked at all the parts.
Stop it.
Well, it almost, the thought actually crossed my mind. Like, is this an introduction to maybe open these up to like some legacy sabers down the road?
I hope so, because these are cool. Yeah,
I'd buy them.
I would too. I was even thinking it would be nice if Savi's Workshop, they started bringing in more hilts that you could build based off of these designs. But
they must be, because some of these hilts are pretty cool actually, like the Master Cantum's one with all the carved piece on the wood on the handle.
Oh yes,
really intricate, really pretty.
Yeah,
and then Master Torben's it's curved like Darth Tyrannus.
Yeah,
I'm reading that down. Yeah, exactly. I like that hilt as well.
Very, very unique compared to the sabers I've seen. So yeah.
And then Master Yoda's little saber, because size matters not. And then I would like to see all these galactic data files compiled together into one book. I think that would be really cool, because there's so many.
Yeah, they definitely need a book for it.
Yeah. And so then we're back on Starlight Beacon, and the kids are like, I can't believe they left us, well, because she's on track to be one of the greatest Jedi. She's very powerful. So she's like, oh, I need to be in there. They're just very confident. And then they're explaining that, Farzala's like, we were never meant to go fight, really. It's supposed to be like an excursion.
Yeah.
And Lula's like, yeah, I know that, Farzala. Don't tell me. He's like, well, Court agrees with me. She gets all pissed off. Why do you and Court always get along? Always agree on everything? And then we see they're bickering, and we flash back to the moon, and we see our little nemesis Crix. He caught up to that creature, tackled him, and this is where he tells him, Rich, that if he just behaves, he won't have to shoot him.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he really wants to kill him. He's a peaceful person.
Yeah.
It was like a religious cult, right? When they were on their planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very opposite of what he's used to.
The thing is, I guess in a way, he's spent most of his life being told what he needs to do and how he needs to behave and all the rest of it. So he's just having the same thing here, but what they're telling him to do is kind of against everything that he and his planet believed in.
Mm-hmm. And then he did put binders on him, though. So I saw that.
Yeah.
So when he caught him, he put binders. So he prevented him from actually doing what he wanted to do. But then he escapes. And then we flash back into the space scene where they're fighting. I love all these battle scenes. I live for the action.
Yeah, and Yoda flying a what are they?
The vectors?
Yes.
Vectors?
Yeah.
And then they're done. That was a quick one. So Buck was right. He's going to make it back to his oven.
Yeah, Yoda's not sure and thinks it's too easy. And he's got suspicion there's something else going on.
Right. And
then we're back on where Crix has sent a message to Zine to say, like, just stay away from me because I can protect you. Then don't come here because they'll try and kill you, kind of type thing. And
what part was it?
Like, last page.
I missed that. Where was that?
Page before.
Well, he basically suggested that they run
off together.
The Jedi and the Night.
That's right.
Just live somewhere alone. It sounded like a desperate love plea, to be honest. If they were a little bit older, I would have thought he was courting her.
Yeah, I think it's just because they were best friends, and they're used to kind of looking out for each other. So now it's like I think he's starting to realize he's in some deep doo-doo.
He definitely wants to go back to some simpler times.
He wants out.
Yes, he does want to go back.
But he also doesn't trust the Jedi, remember, because that's how he ended up with Nihil in the first place.
Right.
So he's just like, can we just meet up and then let's get out of here? Let's just go our own way. Let's leave them both behind. Let's do our thing. We'll look after each other like we always do.
This is reminiscent of Finn when he tells Rey, let's just the two of us, when they're on Takadana, he's like, let's just get on this transport, get away, because you won't survive. And so very, very recalling of that. Oh yeah, that's right here.
I could see this setting up for like a Last Jedi scene with Rey and Kylo. Not in this issue, but maybe the next couple where they actually do meet and she's trying to bring him back. to the Jedi, and he's like, to hell with all of it. Let's just go fly off. And that might be where they finally like part ways.
Or not. Because it might have a different ending. Yeah, because this might be successful. So. Yeah, because he doesn't seem quite as evil as Kylo was.
No, but I haven't seen him make one right decision yet either.
Well, he tried to not kill that bird creature.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that's done yet. Is it?
And he did send Zine a message saying, look, just be careful, meet me on the moon, we'll get away. So he doesn't want to capture her. Even though Marchion wants him to bring her. So good catch, Lakota. So then we're back on Starlight Beacon, and that's when Lula comes into the room and says, Zine, where are you? Because it was just our three friends talking and chatting. And then they realize that she's missing. And her stuff is gone.
Yeah.
And then she looks at the holo projector, and there's a message for them. And then we go really quickly to that, what is it, the communications tower? Is that where they went?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the guy was trying to, or the trash being was trying to.
Bird creature. Yeah. And so they're inside that communications tower, and you look at Crix's face, and I feel bad for him here. He looks, distressed, and he's shooting, but he doesn't have good aim because he doesn't know how to shoot. And then the little creature makes it to the call button, and he presses it. Beep, beep, beep. Simultaneously, we've got Zine's friends, Lula and Barzilla in court, and they're watching her message. And she tells them, look, I know you're going to find this message. You're going to think I just ran off, but trust me, I have something to do. She tells him that she's going to go get Crix and save him because, she cares about him.
Yeah.
And it's her problem, so she's going to take care of it. And then our friends are like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And Lula's like, well, she is going to come back because Cham Cham's here, and Cham Cham's her pet. And I would never abandon my pets. Lakota, can you imagine abandoning Ember?
Oh, never.
So she's definitely planning on coming back.
Yeah.
And so our friends decide, what are we going to do? And then we have these blue thought bubbles, where Lula's her inner monologue, where she's mentally going through her Jedi trainings. And it's a little bit of
that bottom left-hand panel where they're all crammed into the one vector, like shoved up against the window. They're all like smooshed up and squashed in. It's very much kind of all for one and one for all. Woo.
Yeah, because vectors are single pilot drivers, right? There's just one person.
Apparently,
I think there's room for two.
Boot is that there's someone's boot up by her head, by Lula's head, and then you've got Cham squashed against the window in the top corner. Everyone's just like squashed up.
I do like that panel too. It's cool.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to put more than two Jedi in a vector.
But they're kids, so they're little.
Right.
They can squeeze in there. And then we're back to our Jedi friends who have just defeated the Nile. And then they hear this distress signal. And they think it's coming from the planet. But then Master Yoda says, nope, it's coming from the moon. And we see in the last picture that Zine is on her way to the moon. And then we had it to be continued. Dun, dun, dun.
And you've got Yoda saying, though they're already too late, I fear we may be. So Yoda's already worried about, this is not going to go down very well.
Right. And that's it, setting us up for the next issue. And we get a sneak preview of the next issue, and there's Marchion Ro.
That's an interesting weapon he's got in his hand.
It looks like a lightsaber or electrical something.
Exactly.
Sort of like the, I don't know what they call it, but we saw it in Force Awakens. The stormtroopers were using
the batons. Yeah, those batons, right?
Yeah. where when Finn fought the stormtrooper with the lightsaber on
Or the
Takodana.
big axe one, the one that looked a bit like an axe, where Finn was going to get killed when they're going to chop his head off.
Like the vibro blades, right?
Yeah, but like a bigger one. Like I don't know. I always thought of a vibro blade as like their version of like a switchblade.
Yeah,
you know, it would be more of like a sword-ish, or an axe or something to that effect.
An axe. Yep, and here we have Crix in the background pouting.
As usual.
I'm kind of glad that Jonathan's not on this one, to be honest. I'm joking, John. Just because I know he'd be bitching about how terrible this kid is.
I know, Jonathan hates Crix.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot to like about him. He's very frustrating.
No, he's a brat. Come on, let's face it. He's a brat, and we've established very quickly that as a group we don't do brats.
Yes, but he is a child, and children do behave like that. That's childlike behavior. So
yeah, for sure.
It's not to be unexpected. So I'm excited because this is definitely setting something up. Next issue is gonna hopefully resolve what's going on here. It's going on to part 5. So what did you guys think about this issue?
Yeah, it was all right. It was a bit of a character development setup issue. The only action we got was very quick and very decisive. And clearly there's just a lot more on the very near horizon. I mean, it was cool. They're just telling the story. They're telling the story. Clearly these Crix and was it Zine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they're going to be in the center of it, and it's developing, and we'll just have to see where it goes. Stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, similar kind of thing, really. It's turning into the Zine and Crix show rather than anything specifically about Padawans training Jedi. Everyone else seems to be now falling into secondary and tertiary characters. These two are obviously the kind of main characters in this, with everyone else kind of supporting. But it'll be interesting to see how this pans out, and whether Crix has a redemption arc, or whether they go off independently, or how this kind of pans out. And for me, I'm always interested in knowing, the High Republic has always had quite a lot of loss of life, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not anybody loses their lives during this part of the journey trying to save Crix. What is going to be the outcome of this, because there seems to be quite a lot of life lessons in each of these, threaded through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this.
Yes, I agree. Or see who loses a hand.
Yeah, obviously.
And let me see. I pulled up the Mickean, and here we see 2 other Mickeans that are familiar to us from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And we can see that they have those little tendrils.
Yeah,
just
that's
like
very cool.
Zine does. Mm-hmm. And then I pulled up, let's see, Ord Mantell to learn more about this planet, which was cool. All the connections. We're in the Bright Jewel system. And Quan Chi is it's the moon, the junk moon. Here's Quan Chi.
I thought it was interesting that the Nihil were just like creeping and laying low right next to the Jedi. Because they're on Ord Mantell's moon, and Zine and Lulo were on Ord Mantell, so I'm assuming Starlight is right over there too, and they're just right around the corner laying low. So I don't know. That's going to probably have some strategic advantage unless it gets blown up by this distress call. We'll see.
We shall see. So I'm excited to see what happens next, and hope you'll join us in 2 weeks for the exciting conclusion to this episode. Yes, Dakota?
The 19th, isn't it?
Yes. I believe so. Yep, the 19th. And excited to have you join us. And as usual, if you have any questions, we haven't had really any questions coming in, but nice to have you join us.
Always.
So if there's nothing else to share on this episode, because it was a quick one, I think we're ready to sign off, guys.
Yeah, lovely. See you later, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. Have a good week. Couple weeks.
For light and life.
For light and life.